Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. You get the feeling that we're starting to watch society unravel. The more and more stuff that we see in the news, how society is reacting in criminal ways, in ways that it just seems like kind of the fabric of what's holding us together is just starting to pull apart. And I want to talk to you about that here in a little bit. A lot of it is relation to what happened yesterday in Wisconsin, which was completely and horrific and tragic. But we want to kind of touch on that and a few other things that are happening that I think it's what we're seeing. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be off, but we'll want to talk about that. I do want to mention some more about emails. Maybe some of you get tired of me talking about it, but I don't think so, because the amount of emails and communications I'm receiving from a lot of you, it seems to be a pretty important thing. And I am continually trying to refine the process of organizing and responding to those. It is, at least on my end, it seems to be better. I'm sure there's some of you that have waited a long time for a response. But there's just a lot coming through, and it has come through, and so I'm trying to catch up. That this idea that I've been working on and trying is, and I've mentioned here before, is anyone that is coordinating some kind of something that makes a lot of sense. Any kind of meetups or group functions, or just getting connected with each other in your state or in your area. Or just are willing to be kind of a point person. People have been contacting me saying, hey, you can put me down. And then what we're doing is we're trying to filter through all the emails and figure out where different people are that are looking for other like-minded people, and kind of sending big group emails out so that everyone can kind of have each other's email and kind of break the glass and get people talking. Now, to let me set the record straight, I am in no way trying to form some kind of organization because of this. I don't have time for that. I wish I did, but I don't. I've got too many irons in the fire as it is. What I'm doing, it's just a lot of people that are constantly emailing me asking, hey, do you know of anything going on in my area? Do you know of, any other people in my area? And so this is the only solution that I can come up with right now, other than just ignoring all those emails. So that's what we're doing. Now, I am not vetting anyone. So if you're getting into these emails, if you're getting group emails like this, know that no one's been vetted. That's all on you. I'm just kind of being that middle guy of helping make the connections. And I encourage people to kind of communicate through email, at least for a while, and then maybe set up some kind of public meeting or something to start to get to know each other. And it is happening. I've been receiving emails in the last few days of people that have already been receiving some of these emails, and they're excited that they're starting to make connections. One person contacted me and said, hey, I felt like I was the only one. I live in kind of a liberal area, and I thought I was the only one, and come to find out there's like 4 or 5 people that live fairly close to me. And so it's interesting and exciting to see that kind of stuff happen. If you haven't received an email from me yet, one of these group emails, I either haven't gotten to that state, or maybe there's just no one, you're the only one. But we're working on ways of trying to get through this a little bit faster, because it has been a daunting task, to say the least. So if you're part of that group, and if you have other questions and stuff, I'm working on categorizing those, and then that way I can kind of easily filter through everything. So I just wanted to give everyone an update on that. I know it took forever to say that. I'm going to take a sip of this amazing coffee first. Expedition Joe, one of us, prepper, conservative, Christian, good guy that started this company, and you can find a link down in the description below if you're interested. So, on to this stuff that's happening. I'm sure most of you have heard what happened yesterday in Wisconsin, and is really tragic. I'm not going to show any videos or pictures because it was tragic. This guy had a criminal record, was out on bond, and at a Christmas parade where there were kids, high school kids, all kinds of people. You know how you've been to the little Christmas parades in your area. Bands are playing, marching bands and stuff, and this guy drove right through the middle of all of it at a very high rate of speed. And as of this afternoon, it looks like 5 people have been confirmed killed and somewhere around 40 people have been injured. And this is just horrific. The video of it is really awful. It's very heartbreaking to see at an event, whether or not this isn't about what your religious beliefs or anything on when it comes to Christmas. This is, a bunch of people, they're enjoying themselves, having a good time, trying to, hold on to kind of that old, American thing of going to a local parade. And a lot of people were hurt and a lot of people were killed. And so it's horrible. But I think part of this fits in with my kind of theory that we are watching society unravel. There's been, and this has gone on for a while, but it seems to me at least that we're seeing more and more of this looting stuff. I'm going to show, I think I'll just have them playing while I'm speaking. Maybe that'll work out best. One of these videos is a Nordstrom, I believe, in San Francisco. And the report that I saw that there was at least 25 vehicles involved, and they just surrounded the store, ran inside, grabbed stuff, ran outside, and left. The next video that I'll be playing is at a pharmacy. I'm not exactly sure where. It may be in the San Francisco Bay Area, but I cannot confirm that. And this is a pharmacy, and they did basically the same thing. They ran into the pharmacy and just ransacked it. We've been seeing this stuff. I saw last week or 2 weeks ago in Connecticut, a group of people went into a grocery store and came out with a bunch of toilet paper and laundry detergent. We're seeing this with TVs. We're not just high-end stuff either. A lot of just common daily household goods. We're watching people do this. And there's a lot of reasons I think that are happening. Partly is because, well, there's hardly any police anymore, and the laws in a lot of these places aren't even prosecuting or making it a crime to do this kind of looting. But, and you could make the argument, well, we're only aware of this now more and more because of the internet. Or you could make the argument that it's happening more and more because of the internet. People are watching this, seeing that people are getting their 15 minutes worth of fame, that they're able to do this and get away with it. And so they want to do the same thing. The point that I'm trying to make, though, is that I think this is part of what we're seeing society unravel. We're seeing crimes being committed. We're seeing people more desperate. It's possible that some of this is being done because of money and because of inflation, but probably it's just it's happening because people know they can get away with it and they can make a quick buck. I think the more and more we start to unravel, you're going to see more of this kind of stuff. You're going to see more violence. You're going to see more riots. We're seeing this in other countries. France was reporting some pretty violent protests over there because they don't want this, or at least mandated. We're seeing this in other countries doing the same thing, and we have been for a while. There was a protest this week or March or whatever you want to call it in Chicago, and Jesse Jackson, the guy's still alive, led this march. And of course it was about the Kyle Rittenhouse case and BLM and everything, even though Kyle Rittenhouse really had nothing to do with BLM. And at this protest, they were chanting something to the effect that, the only way that change is going to happen is a communist revolution or something like that. There were also videos posted yesterday evening of various people saying that they believed that what we saw yesterday in Wisconsin was a revolution started. They're claiming that this was part of a revolution. As I've seen, there's no evidence yet. Looks like the guy was just kind of running from the law and did it. But there is possibility that it was done on purpose because of all the stuff going on. The point that I'm trying to make, though, is that we're watching, I believe, we're watching our society slowly become unraveled. And I think this plays a big part into the collapse of our civilization, which I've been talking about for months, and why really, in my opinion, that's the big thing, the big overarching umbrella thing that we should be trying to prepare ourselves for. And that fits in with the Great Reset, the New World Order, the end times, everything. We're watching it all kind of come crashing down. We're seeing the economy do the same thing, although we were told by the president that we shouldn't complain about that because apparently, even with inflation, people have a lot more money than they did before. It's okay. Don't worry about it. which seems a little silly, but that's of course what they're telling us. We're watching, it seems like just little bits here and there of our society just start to fall apart. We're also watching society become less free, and we've been seeing that for a while. I wanted to show you this little news clip here out of Australia. Yes, they're still at it. They haven't backed down. I'm getting emails very frequently, at least a couple a week, from viewers in Australia talking about how bad it is, saying that it's really bad. I got one the other day from a family that they may be one of the more fortunate ones. I mean, they're still in Australia, but they have been able to find a piece of property way out in the middle of nowhere, and they're moving to that. And they said, you know, they really can't leave the country because of various circumstances, so they're going to try to go out into the bush as, you know, far away from people as they can and just try to ride this out. They've announced in Australia that, and remember my theory and many others is that Australia is kind of a beta test. They're doing the stuff that they're doing. It's ridiculous. The numbers in Australia aren't any worse. There's no evidence that people are getting more sick at higher rates of, you know, numbers and dying at a higher rate than anywhere else. There's none of that. But I believe because Australia is a kind of an island country, you know, it's its own continent, and it's closed off from the rest of the world because of the ocean. So it's easier to use it as kind of a petri dish, you know. And I think that that's one of the reasons why they are using Australia as a beta test to kind of test their what they can get away with. And Australia has announced that if you're infected, or if you've been in contact with anyone that's infected and you don't have this, yeah, then you go into quarantine, forcibly quarantine. They put you into quarantine facilities. There's all kinds of pictures and videos of these facilities. I mean, they have double wall, electrified fences. They just look like a prison, a big gulag. And they've announced that they are using the military now, that they have authorized military forces to go around and to round people up and to take them off and to put them into quarantine. The government themselves are admitting this, okay? This isn't some conspiracy theorist that's trying to twist things and try to make it sound like... That's exactly what they're saying, folks. They are saying that they're doing this, and they're bragging about it, and they're saying it's a good thing. Over in New Zealand, their neighbor, they're saying kind of almost the same thing. They're saying that basically if you don't have the pass, you know, the little passport thing, then you can't do anything. You can't do anything. If you have the passport, you're able to do things. But if you don't have it, you can't do anything. Back over to Australia, they're saying that if you have it, if you don't have this, then you can't leave your home. You can't leave your home for any reason other than an emergency medical situation. You're stuck in your home, and they may come and they may remove you from your home forcibly and put you into quarantine. This is the world that we're living in. Many of you might say, that's Australia. That's not happening here. We're America. We got a constitution. They're not going to do that. Folks, has there been any evidence over the last couple of years that they give two you-know-whats about the Constitution? You remember way back when George W. Bush, the comment that he said about it's just a you-know-what piece of paper? That's what they think, okay? They don't care about that Constitution. It means nothing to them. It absolutely means nothing. I don't know that they even look at it as a hurdle or a stumbling block or a speed bump anymore. So as much as I think the Constitution was a very, great and well-written and historical document in human history, right now as it stands, I don't know that it really means much anymore, at least not in their minds. The possibility of America getting to the point of Australia, I think, is pretty high. I don't know that I have the article anymore, but back a few months ago, and I did report on this and show you, there were people inside the White House saying that Jill Biden, the president's wife, was saying that she was in favor of doing like an Australian-style lockdown, that she was pushing for that's what she was wanting. I don't think that there's anything you can get, any way you can get around it. That's what they're wanting. I think that's the direction they hope that they can take this. And as we watch societies just start to come unraveled even more and more, the economy is getting worse. People are losing their jobs more, or being forced to make a decision, and they have to quit or they have to get fired. Homes, it's harder and harder for people to have homes. Come this winter, it's going to be hard for a lot of people to heat their homes. They're not going to have the Thanksgiving or the Christmas or whatever it is that they celebrate like they're used to, because prices are up, because there's shortages of a lot of stuff. There is pressure on a lot of people. You and I, we look at all this and we have a different pressure. Our pressure is different. Our stress is different. Our stress is kind of getting ourselves and our families ready for this. The normies, the sheep out there, they're not aware of all this stuff until it directly happens to them. And then they have the stress of just pure survival instincts. I mean, that's all it is. There's panic. They have no survival instincts. And so all of a sudden they feel that, what are they going to do? They can't afford things. They can't heat their home. They may not have a job. They may not have a home at some point. Food is becoming harder to get or more expensive. They can't get the things that they want. What are they going to do? And that's when panic sinks in. And so what we're seeing with the looting, the increased violence everywhere, virtually every major city or medium to larger city in the United States have experienced an increase in violent crimes in the last 1.5 to 2 years. This is not going to slow down. It's not. I've talked to people that live in these big cities, and they said it is absolutely like a war zone, that the news media doesn't report on this, that it is an absolute war zone in some of these cities. This is the problem that a lot of us are going to be facing, and not just the problem of the government, like what we were just talking in Australia. That's a problem we might be facing, but also the people, and those are always the dangerous ones, because they're the hardest ones to gauge of what we're going to deal with. What's it going to be like when people start to finally lose it? That's one of the big reasons why we should prepare, folks. Not just because of what government might do, not just because of what the situation might cause, but also because of what the millions and millions of people out there that are absolutely not prepared at all. And once it finally slaps them upside the head that things are really, really, really bad, what are they going to do? How are they going to react? We're starting to see what people are capable of, what their reactions might be like. And so, folks, we need to continue to get prepared, mentally, physically, spiritually. It's important. Don't stop. Don't think that, well, you've probably done enough. Now you can take a break. You need to keep doing it. Keep pushing yourself. It doesn't mean that you're not supposed to have any other life, but I do believe that it means that we're supposed to take it very serious right now. Not to get everyone scared or anything like that, but I think it's like you're preparing for war. Think of yourself as a soldier, and many of you once were soldiers. And what you do if you're going off to war, or you believe that you're going off to war, you start preparing yourselves in every possible way. And that's what we need to start doing, folks, because I believe we are watching society kind of unravel around us. And what that does is, it's not just, government that we have to deal with, or some policy or law or something like that. We have to deal with all of society, because it could become a very chaotic place for us to exist in. All right, folks, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.